Monceau, Corporal Mark Tunley, and all of the special guests who are here with us today. Thank you to Jackie Van Ryten, our Principal, and Sandra Mestros and the Governing Council, who've given me the opportunity to say a few words today. It's a real privilege for me, and I know that the Premier and Minister Tarzia would very much have liked to be here today, as they usually are. Cabinet's meeting at the moment, and there was only room for one of us to leave, and I pointed out I'd been invited to speak, so I got the gig, which made me very happy. I'd like to thank Jordan for that acknowledgement of country before, which he did so very well. I know that everybody in the room acknowledges the important relationship that the Kaurna people have with this country, Kaurna land, that it is. And the spiritual and ongoing connection of the living Kaurna people today with this land is very important. This is my 11th Norwood Morialta High School graduation as one of your local members of Parliament. But as has been said, this one is very, very different from those that have come before. We're usually in the Ivan Coward Hall, which I understand is now providing service to the school community as a library with spectacular views of the building site. While circumstances and social distancing requirements dictate that we couldn't have the graduation on campus this year, the fact that we were able to have this graduation at all and have 1,000 members of the Norwood Morialta High School community present here with us today is no small thing. Without for a moment downplaying the challenges, disruptions of the last 8 months, I expect that every single person in this room, given the knowledge in March or April that by late October we would have experienced a full year of schooling, mostly face-to-face, and that today we'd be able to come together to celebrate the achievements of these outstanding graduates, I think every single person here in March or April would have been very glad to know that, and I, for one, am extremely grateful. But while our celebrations today aren't on campus, it's also worth saying that Norwood Morialta High School isn't defined by its buildings or its grounds nearly as much as it's defined by its people and its community. So to the invited guests who are here, those who are presenting awards or those who are showing your support by your presence, thank you. For your engagement and your contribution is valued by the school. To the staff who are here with us today, I'm sure you've already received thanks from your students, and if you haven't yet, they will. Certainly in the weeks ahead, they'll thank you again. And as Minister for Education, I add my thanks to you, teaching and non-teaching staff alike, for the way that you go above and beyond to support your students within and without the classroom. You take pride in your students' success and you take an interest in their lives. The work that you have done has had a big impact on both, so thank you for that. To all the parents and the families who are here to acknowledge your children on their graduation day, I acknowledge today is a significant milestone for you too. Over 13 years of schooling, 18 or 19 years of life, you've made sure that your children have been fed and clothed and loved and supported. You've been with them in celebration and in sorrow, and you've shared in their milestones, you've taught them life lessons, and if your family is anything like mine, I'm sure that your children have taught you a few life lessons too. And today, as Jackie said, you're feeling, I'm sure, a wide range of emotions as we mark this significant moment of transition in their lives into their next phase. In graduating from high school, every single one of the students here today has given you reason to feel satisfaction, joy and pride. So amongst the range of emotions I'm sure you're feeling today, I hope those three will appear front and centre. But finally, and most importantly, I want to talk to the students, the class of 2020. Well done. You've worked towards this day for years, and there are 1,000 people here today because you've done a great job. A number of you still have exams to do, but the work you've done, not just through this year, but through your whole schooling journey, has given you the foundations you need to be proud of the work you'll do in the coming weeks. And then you'll face a whole new world of challenges and opportunities. Jackie was absolutely right to say your ATAR won't define you. Exams are an opportunity to get a head start, but I tell you what, if my ATAR defined me, I certainly wouldn't be where I am today. I didn't do that well in my Year 12 exams. I hadn't put in the preparation through the year. And so I got, I think, my 5th choice when I was looking at what course I would go into. I didn't go in any of the paths that I'd set out for myself when I was in Year 9 or Year 10. It turned out the course I went into gave me opportunities that I wasn't expecting. and a life that I wouldn't give up for anything now. Some of you are on your way to university or skilled training pathways. Some of you have already started apprenticeships or traineeships or employment. Some of you are on a pathway that will take you from Adelaide, and many more of you will stay. But whatever that pathway may be and wherever it may take you, we want your life to be a successful one, and I hope that you do too. What success looks like will be really different for each and every one of you. I'd argue that a successful life is one where you wake up in the morning looking forward, secure in the knowledge that you're looking forward to the day ahead. And that might be because the job you're doing is fulfilling, that it makes use of your gifts and skills, and you're surrounded by people who are positive and whose company brings you joy. Sometimes success can mean that you're building a family full of love, built on respectful relationships and mutual support. Some people feel an intense calling to a particular career path or a course of service through their life. Historically, one of the things that has tended to bring people joy throughout their lives has been the knowledge that their work will contribute to making their community and the world a better place for their children and their grandchildren and other citizens. There's no simple picture of what success might look like for you, and there's no one pathway that will help you get there. But there are some attributes that I've noticed most successful people have in common. And I'd encourage you to consider how you might develop those attributes in yourself. I'm talking about three things in particular: preparation, hard work, and resilience. Preparation is about having an understanding of what is to come. Right now, many of you are in the middle of preparing for exams, so you have some idea of what that looks like. And preparation for life isn't so dissimilar. As you're identifying where you're heading in life, you need to research what is required to get there. You need to familiarise yourself with what it involves. As you apply yourself to that goal, good preparation will ensure that your efforts can most effectively be directly targeted towards that goal, while maintaining an ability to adapt as things change. Today, you have many tools at your disposal to help you in that preparation. The information available in your pockets, at your fingertips, is spectacular. It's a gift. But don't let it make you complacent, because human interactions will always give you insight that Google can never replace. If you're interested in working in a particular field, talk to people who are doing it or who've done it. Most people are more than happy to share their experiences when someone takes an interest in what they do, and they're usually impressed when someone will follow up an email with an actual telephone call. What they have to say will reflect real-world experience, and I promise you'll find it invaluable. Hard work speaks for itself. It's often the difference between success and failure in any endeavour. It's worth saying, when I encourage you to work hard, don't do it at the exclusion of family or of community. I think that some of the most successful people you'll ever meet in life are very good at time management. They work hard, but they make time for their family and their community. But if you know what you want to do in life and you're prepared for it, and applying yourself, avoiding procrastination and putting in the hard work in a purposeful way is critical. And the third attribute I mentioned is resilience. Even with all the preparation and the hard work, you won't always get where you want to go. Sometimes circumstances take over. Just ask anyone who's really tried to do anything, especially travel, this year. Sometimes things just take time. On his way to inventing the light bulb, Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that don't work." But he knew he was onto something and he kept at it. Sometimes other people are better prepared or harder working or get chosen ahead of us. Sometimes they're just lucky. Sometimes the decision maker gets things wrong. The Beatles made music for years and were rejected by almost every major record label in England before eventually their hard work paid off. They were picked up by EMI and they went on to sell more records than anyone else ever has in the history of recorded music. And they're not alone. Adversity, failure, they should never be sought out. They come easily enough to us without looking for them. But when they do come, take it as an opportunity to reflect, to learn, and to improve. Because if you're to succeed in life, you can't be afraid of failure. You can't be afraid to take a risk. Especially in Australia, where people love a comeback, people will always be more interested in how you pick yourself up from a failure than in the failure itself. Preparation, hard work and resilience have been critical to me in getting to a job and a life that I now have and which I'm very grateful for. Preparation and hard work speak for themselves. Running for Parliament is like a year-long job interview where all of the employers live in 15,000 different houses and not all of them want to sit down to have a chat. So it takes good planning and a lot of Schullever to try and meet as many as you can, to answer their questions and to convince them of your merits. I want to talk about resilience. The first time I ran for Parliament, I got absolutely slaughtered. On pre-selection, before I even got to the starting gate, I came third out of three candidates looking for Liberal Party endorsement to run for a seat. I got 5 votes out of 70, it was brutal. It was very tempting at that point to give up and move on to something entirely different, but I felt like I had something to offer. So instead I took a different approach. I offered to manage the campaign of the person who had just defeated me. And they won the seat, they got into the Parliament. But for me, this act of humility was something that won the respect of a group of people who just voted against me. And I had many conversations, honest conversations, frank and brutal conversations in some cases, with many of the people about why they hadn't thought that I was ready and why they voted against me. I listened with both ears and had an open mind to what they had to say, and I'm not going to lie, it was a humiliating experience, it felt like at the time, but their advice was worth listening to. And that experience made me a better candidate. I hope it made me a better MP as a result when my time did come up 4 years later. The last thing I want to say to the graduates is that it's a privilege and an opportunity to be living in South Australia right now, the safest state and the safest country in the world. Many of you will have family members and friends who live in Victoria or who live overseas, and they've had a very difficult year. Many of them will have a difficult year ahead as well. And we feel for them and we pray for them, and we very much hope that we'll be able to be reunited with them soon. But here in South Australia, the 320 of you have opportunities to make progress in your life that are not available to thousands and millions of other 18 and 19-year-olds interstate and overseas. Opportunities and gifts, it's a gift many of them could only dream of. Don't waste those opportunities that you have. Whatever your skills are, or your interests, or your aptitudes, whatever those things mean that success looks like for you, you have those opportunities and those advantages to achieve that success, and you simply must take them. Whether that's to be a scientist, or a community leader, or an educator, to care for people in your family, or a doctor, or be a builder, or a business leader, a diplomat, or to volunteer in your community, or any of 100 other paths that you take along your life. Find the path that suits your skills and your interests. Chase it. Work for it. Ask questions. Prepare. Work hard. Get up when you fall down and try again when you fail. Be kind and show respect, as your school motto says, to the people you meet along the way. And remember, if you find the path that you're on is bringing you no joy and no happiness and no peace, maybe you're on the wrong path and it's time to reassess, because the other great gift your generation has is the opportunity to reinvent yourselves, learn new skills and take a new path along the way. I can't wait to see what you guys are going to achieve in the years ahead. Our country, our state, our community is going to be wonderful because of your work. Congratulations, and I wish you all the joy in the world on your graduation. Thank you very much.